This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
We are honored to be joined by Tony Patton once again here, coaching at the Simple Truth Services. Yeah, that's what he does for a living. He's helping so many truck drivers all over the world, really, with healthy tips. He's here to help save lives and, of course, help, you work better and feel better and keep yourself in shape for work. First and foremost, Tony, welcome to the show today. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. How you guys doing out there? Everybody doing good out there, driving the cars, being safe out there?
Yeah, I sure hope so, right? Safety, the number one thing on the roads, and especially these days, a lot of people with those cell phones, texting and driving, not a good thing. Speeding, you're going to give us a lot of tips about this. You do this for a living and help so many people, let alone truck drivers as well. So I know you're based out of Charlotte, North Carolina, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes,
tell
ma'am.
me a little bit about how the Simple Truth Services, your coaching business, started up. I would love to get to know you for our listeners and viewers today. So if you mind giving us your backstory, I'd appreciate that.
Okay, so I was a truck driver for 22 years, 14 years driver trainer, and I got 1,000,000 miles accident free. So after not driving anymore, I started my business, Simple Truth Service, showing drivers how to overcome accident, how to overcome trials and tribulation when they drive. When I got that 1,000,000 miles, I learned how to slow down, take my time, and enjoy driving. And that's what I started, Simple Truth Service. Be committed, integrity, and be consistent in what you say you're going to do, and mean what you say and say what you mean. So that way, when you get on the road, you're going to be safe. You'll be safe.
Now, how did you get into the business of truck driving? Would you mind sharing, where you grew up and how this evolved? And let's talk about your past life and, how, this brought you here to help so many.
Yeah, when I went to when I was growing up here in Charlotte, North Carolina, I grew up here in Charlotte, where you grow up with a family origin where everybody come together,
Yeah.
uh, family, and we get together to the point where everybody uh, come together as a family. So as I grew older, growing up in Charlotte, North Carolina, I saw that when you take care of people, I had relatives that took care of each other, raised each other. So when I went to truck driving school was only 14 days. And the first week they teach you how to use the paperwork. And then they teach
Mm-hmm.
you how to drive. And
Ah,
so
yeah.
that's what gave me the inspiration to drive is that, Miss Jill, I learned how to back trailers first before I learned how to put trailers on the road. And so,
Ah.
yeah,
Well, I'm ecstatic that you're here joining us. And I told you last time, I came from a family of truck drivers in the newspaper business all over New York City for the New York Times, the New York Post, the Daily News. And growing up, I saw my dad, and he was not a good driver. He was always getting into accidents, even speeding in the car with us as children, let alone his work, always getting into accidents and always getting tickets. So there was really no good role model. And, he got in a lot of trouble. He was suspended a lot of times. I mean, looking back now, it's really scary and sad. He was also using drugs at the time, and this is just unsafe. This is back in the 80s, the 90s, but whatever it is, it's still not right. So I learned at a young age the importance of safety behind the wheel, and I think it relates to everyone, not just truck drivers out there, right? About the importance of safety because your life is so precious, and the lives of others on the road. So let's talk a little bit about, what type of coaching you're doing. So you're giving truck drivers out there what type of beneficial information?
paying attention, slowing down, making sure that when you get your hands on the wheel, you're not speeding, making sure that you observe the stop signs and those things that come on your way. One thing about driving is you don't ever want to get in a rush. Don't ever want to get in a rush. You want to take your time, making sure that you mean what you're saying, say what you mean to the point you're going to get in there, be consistent in what you say you're going to do, and then have fun driving. That's the thing about driving because most people do
Yeah.
is they get in there to want to tailgate. Don't tailgate. Give yourself plenty of time where you need to go, and always plan your schedule out. So that way, when you get your hand behind the wheel, you're not getting in a rush. Not getting in a rush. A lot of people, Jill, they get in a rush. when they get in a rush, when things happen. And I will tell drivers is that watch what you're eating, drinking, making sure that you're eating very, very light when you drive, because that's very, very important. Because when you get out on the road, fatigue going to set in. A lot of time when we worry, frustration going through our minds and hearts,
Yeah.
we can have that fatigue happening. When that fatigue happens, you want to be prepared. So get out in the truck, walk around. Even drivers who drive their cars, you got to pay attention to, because we want to pay attention to the four-wheelers out there when they drive too, to make sure they're safe too. Yeah.
Now, tell me, the day in the life of a truck driver, what are the rules? And I'm sure is this national rules, right? That apply to truck drivers all over? The amount of time you're allowed on the road, the amount of time you need to brake, all those things. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, you have 11 hours to drive per day.
Okay.
And within that 11 hour that you drive, I tell drivers that you get that 2 hours driving, 3 hours driving, get out of the truck, walk around it, get yourself alert, sharp. Just don't pass. Be consistent in that. That's the thing, Jill. When you're consistent driving trucks and you have a consistent route, you want to make up your mind that you're going to get that break time. Make up your mind that when you do that, your body's going to start recognize you're doing something right within that 11 hours, that 2 hours, 3 hours, get that 30 minutes, 45 minutes, walk out the truck, make sure you get the exercise like I do and walk around the truck. Make sure I get that exercise, wherever you need to get out. So that way you can get away from the truck. But when you get back in the truck, you're more energized and ready to go when you get on, get your hand behind the wheel.
Now, let me ask, over the years, what are the standards? What are the safety standards that are applied? I'm sure every trucking company is different, but are there cameras in the car? Are there alarms in the car? What are some of the safety features that truckers have access to these days that maybe we didn't years ago?
What they have is lane violations. They have lane indication that when you go into the right lane, you go into the left lane, it lets you know, it's giving a signal.
Okay.
Know that you over to the lane in the right, the lane to the left. And I tell people that whenever it's raining or it's cold outside and you can't see outside of the lanes, always drive to that right lane over to the right, where you can see that line all the way through. It's white, and that's going to let you know to be safe, safe, safe. And those are the things you watch out for. But that signal is going to let you know, and you make up your mind, going to stay right in the middle. And then when you slow down, you start recognizing that. That's why I say when
Yeah.
you be consistent, you can recognize how you're doing, what you're doing. So that way you go to the side of the lane, you drift over, you make up your mind that you're going to listen to that, and it's going to be alert when you're driving.
And do a lot of the trucks nowadays have navigational systems? Just
Yes.
curious. They
Yep.
do. Okay. And I'm sure everything's tracked and monitored as well, right? Most trucking companies track their employees and their drivers so we know the speed they're going, we know how safe they are? Is there any rewards or benefits that they provide for their drivers that are keeping up with these type of safety, things and the speed limits and all?
Yeah, when I got 1,000,000 miles accident free, is what you do is take your time, be consistent. And when you do it consistent on your driving,
Yeah.
what they do is, you notice at that time, Gio, we had switching gears. And that was able to slow down, make up your mind on when you go into one gear, go to the next gear, you got to take your time. So they reward you as you be safe on the road. And
Yeah.
when you're safe on the road, you're gonna be safe in everything else you do too. That's what's good about driving safe, 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 is that when you get your hands on the wheel, you have a consistent route, and you getting your brakes in there, you're making sure everything's on, and they will reward you with 1,000,000 miles. That's what inspired me when I got to the trucking business, and I saw the truck drivers who had millions of miles. I would go in and talk to them, ask them, "How did you get 1,000,000 miles?" Well, you got to take your time, don't get in the rush. So I take that to heart, and I tell any driver out there, don't get in a rush. Don't tailgate. Make up your mind you're not going to use a cell phone. Your body will let you know, because when you go with God, say, pray before you start your day.
Yeah.
Read your Bible, put God first. And the more you do that, Jill, what happens, your body get alert to what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. And I tell people, evaluate yourself every day that you get out the truck. How well did you do? By the end of the week, you'll notice that you're getting better at your driving. And plus, where everything you do in your life, you get safe, safe, safe.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you. So what else do you want to share with us today about the work that you're doing and how you're helping so many?
What I do is when people have an accident or hiccup, or they have a fatal situation, they can call me. I face them, make FaceTime and make sure they're okay. First of all, I want to make sure they're okay. That's number one. Number two is what happened. And then what I share what to do. Once they get it out, Jill, they share what's going on. You know, a lot of time when they detail facts about the situation, do you know they have a clear, precise decision of what they need to make? Was they wrong or right? You see that?
Yeah.
So when they're wrong and right, or they're wrong, they can see how right it is, and they speak up, say, "Yeah, it was my fault." You don't want to
Mm-hmm.
go to an accident knowing that you have made a mistake and it was your fault. You admit it. But if it's somebody else's fault, you make sure that they okay first, and then you talk to them, make sure everything is going good. That's what I do, is to make sure everybody's safe. And then we talk to them, and I will visit them in the hospital, make sure they're okay in that category. Because Jill, they need to be coached the correct way in love to help them to overcome that accident they just went through. Because everybody go through a trauma and trying to calm them down.
Got it. Wow. And to work with you, Tony, let's share the benefits of working with the coach like you. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's that whenever I was in the trucking business and a person had an accident, like I just talked to a guy. He's in rehab right now. I went to his house. He somebody hit him in the back. And when
Wow.
somebody hit him in the back, it was all of a sudden. And so when we talked to them, like it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, it went on. But the more his body recognized what just happened, because you and I know when you get hit back from
Yeah.
the back or an accident happened, you got to coach them to make sure they're okay. So, like I was sharing with him, is that once your body recognizes what just happened, it started, you're going through
Ah,
pain. But the thing is, your body started recognizing, Jill, once your body recognizes what just happened, it started the healing process. Just like when somebody break their arm,
yeah.
the body's trying to recognize what you just did, what was going on. So when you talk to them, you coach them, make sure they're okay, make sure their attitude's getting up, and they make sure they're eating the proper foods, taking care of themselves to rehab themselves back. And one thing that we bring is joy when they went through an accident, like
Ah,
sitting there making them laughing and joking. That
yeah.
lets me know I'm doing the right thing for them when they went through an accident.
Well, also, Tony, the work you're doing, you're able to work with people not just in North Carolina. We're talking the United States. Do you work in Canada? Tell me where the scope of your work is.
It can be global. That was my goal, to have it global, because you and I know people who have accent Michigan or
Yeah.
Ohio or Charlotte or Raleigh, wherever. They can FaceTime and we sit there and talk. Here's the thing about when you see that we're zooming like we're doing right now, we can do the same thing. And when they get coached, Jill, when they get coached and someone listens to them, that's when they feel comfortable about talking about the situation and they get it out. And once they get it out, it's like casting that mountain to the sea, the Bible says. And when they cast that mountain to the sea, on the other side, they feel like they're more champion than when they went through.
Yeah. Great, Tony. Well, let's talk about some of the success stories to work with you. Share a little bit information about the people you've helped and the knowledge they've gained and why they keep coming back.
The reason why they keep coming back is because commitment, integrity, consistent. And
Yeah.
that's one thing that they see, is that when they know you care, Jill, that's very, very important, because you and I know when people go through a tragedy, something happened, they want to know if you care. And
Yeah.
when you care, you spend time with them, you coach them, you educate. You know what they do? They tell their other friends when they was in accident. They tell their other friends what they're going through, and making sure that they're getting their bodies back in order. Because you and I know that's the main goal, is that we want to be safe, 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 and we want them to overcome. That's the thing. Don't have fear, because everybody go through that, right? But when we coach each other to overcome it, they get better. They get better to the point they start communicating. They started realizing, wow, I can get back in the wheel. I can be safe, and I can watch out for other people, because you and I know.
Yeah. All right, Tony here joining us. If you are just tuning in, the lines are open. If someone does have any questions for him, please feel free to give us a call. Any questions? 631-307-4031. That's 631-307-4031. Feel free to call in any questions you may have here for our coach at The Simple Truth. Now, also, you mentioned exercise is very important. And what about a lot of truckers? Do they have some bad habits like smoking? Do you help people with that as well? Right?
Yep.
Sometimes you got a lot of time on your hands. So tell us.
Whenever you smoke and drive, I said this is what you must do. You must get plenty of water and drink very light and eat fruits and vegetables, because you got to think you're sitting in a truck for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's very harmful if you don't get out and do some exercises. I recommend that truck drivers get into a whirlpool or a pool and get that body exercise the correct way in life, to the point where they get the nourishment they need, the right proper food they're eating, and get that exercise. That's very, very important. You get out and walk for 2 to 3 hours as you finish your route or before your route. You pick it. But here's the thing, Jill, they have to be consistent when they work out, because once your body recognizes you're doing something consistent, it's going to follow suit. And I tell them that if you're smoking and drinking, make up your mind that you're going to drink on your time off. Don't drink and drive and you know good and well it's going to harm somebody. Don't do that. That's very alarming. The next thing you know is when you're smoking, make up your mind that you're going to drink plenty of water. That's very important. Get off your coffee, because it can stress you out and cause you to get a lot of anxious out there, and you speed. So definitely spend your time working out after you're out of the truck. Make up your mind that you're going to stay consistent in your workout program, because you and I know our body's designed to operate correctly like God did. So the more you do what's right, like when you say 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, keep it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Do not get away from that. And then it's going to be rough at first because you got to cast that mountain. But once you cast that mountain, Jill, that's when they start getting better. And they start realizing, wow, I could be safe in driving. And plus everything else you do with your family, with your loved ones too.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And we still have plenty of more time here. If you guys, again, want to call in, ask any questions, 631-307-4031. Let me ask, what else do you want your listeners to know about you and about the process?
Well, I just want them to know that please do this, Jill. It's very important. We mentioned the safety habit. Always give yourself plenty of time. Do not tailgate. Do not tailgate. That's very, very important. And a truck driver that tailgates these cars, that is dangerous. It's hard for us to stop them trucks. It's hard for even people who are tailgating truck drivers too to stop their car immediately. You never know when. Always give yourself 100 yards in front of that person, in front of that truck, to the point where you know you have time to react if something happened in front of you. So that way we won't have a fatal. That's what we do. Well, I love driving slow. When I got that 1,000,000 miles, they really got mad at me because I really, when it says 55, I'm going 50 or 55 going down the highway. And they say, oh, you're going too slow. But that's 55. It says on the highway. That's what you want to do, right? You go at the exact speed limit, regardless of what somebody wants you to do to speed up. The temptation to speed up, but take your time and go to speed limit. And you feel joyful about that because you're obeying the rules and regulations of the road.
Got it. Rules and regulation of the road, which is something I'm sure that you said. Do you have a book? When you work with your clients, do you have sheets? How do you, give them that's proper training? And just curious, is that something that they get tested on, or is it, how does that work?
Well, every year, every 5 years, the truck drivers got to renew their license. And
Okay.
so we have to constantly study, apply ourselves with the hazmat and all those things to make sure that we load our trailers the correct way. And when we do it like that, what happens, your trailers, and then your knowledge of the road gets dynamic. Here's what I tell people. When you educate yourself on driving and you pay attention to what you're doing, like we have to study book to make sure that we pass the test. Well, think about that when you drive in the road and you understand who you are. When you understand that you become a good driver, you study to make sure you do something when we take our tests. Remember we took our tests? We had to study before that test. And then once we took that test, what happened? We passed it. If we flunked it, okay, you went back and see, okay, what did I do wrong? That's what you do in an accident. You see what you've done wrong and evaluate. You had a great week, you learn from that, you grow from it. But when you have a bad week, you look at it, get clear and concerned, and then you start seeing your life evolve to get better.
Yes. No, absolutely. Very inspiring. Now, let me ask, what are some of the common mistakes, most mistakes you feel that people on the road, our drivers are making? What's the number, like the top few?
Well, the number one is, and I've been stating through it, they get in a rush.
Yes.
They want to
Okay.
drive. They want to speed too fast. That is the main one. And that is the one that we really have to pay. I think if every driver give themselves plenty of time where they need to go. Get example. If Jill said 10 o'clock, then I get to the job at 9 o'clock. I'm on the road at 9:30. You see, that way you get yourself plenty of time or an hour ahead of time. So that way, wherever you go, you want to give yourself plenty of time to get there. And Jill, this was happening. they get in a rush, and then you start making mistakes. And the next thing you know, like you say, when your people was driving, they get in a rush to the point they're not slowing down to make sure they do the right thing. And the body start reacting and overreact. You don't want to do that. You don't want to overreact when you know you need to stay calm, cool, and collected behind the wheel. And I tell people, take your time, don't get in a rush. But here's another thing is when you come to an intersection and you come to a complete stop, make sure you see eye-to-eye contact with each other before you turn. Don't just turn and assume. The first thing we see, I see Jill right now, she see me, she at an intersection. I see her eyes, she see my eyes. Then I can make the decision, let her go or she lets me go. That's very, very important, eye-to-eye contact.
Well, also, you know, in the work that you're doing and continue to do, are you still driving or currently, or are you just strictly coaching?
I'm simply coaching now, but I drove for 22 years. Yeah.
And can I ask for what companies you worked for specifically? What type of trucks you were
XPO,
driving?
XPR, I drove doubles, I drove vans, I drove vans and let's see, but yeah, vans, doubles. Uh, yeah, that's all. I never drove tankers.
Oh my goodness. But I could imagine the stories on the road. Have you ever been, I'm sure, flat tires, any fires, engine failures, stuff like that? What's the
Right.
scariest situation you've come across in all your years personally?
Well, when let's see, one incident was I'm going down the road and I noticed that I give you an incident. I'm training somebody, right? And I'm training. I said, whenever you have the doubles, you cannot stay on that white line on the right line, right? And what they're doing, they're hugging the white line, but they're not making sure because when your doubles are on in the middle of the lane, it handles better. It handles better. So I told my trainer, I said, do not make sure that you go to the left to the right when you have your trailer. So what happened is that person was not paying attention. He was trying to get in a rush and they lost control. He lost
Yeah.
control. And then what he had to do, he had to snap it back. And his heart, I said, see, that's what I was trying to tell you. You have to be alert and be sharp. It was an emergency situation where she got back onto the lane and did the right thing when she realized.
All right, Tony.
Stay in control of those trailers so the trailer can move back in the
Yep.
supposed to.
Got it. And by the way, the lines are still open. If you do want to call in 631-307-4031. In the meantime, we still have, 5 more minutes left in your show. And, how long does somebody need coaching for, would you say? Do you have a program where it's a specific set amount of time, or is it different for every trucker that you encounter?
Every driver that I talk to, every trucker that I talk to is a different situation because of how long they've been driving. They can be a rookie or they've been driving for a long, long time and still have some hiccups. So we try to evaluate that, Jill, into see, okay, have they on the road? What are they doing to their body to make sure you evaluate all those avenues to see, okay, slow it down. Let's make up. I mean, a lot of people playing the accidents. They just go back and forth without really seeing the details. And remember, if you learn from your first mistake, you'll be able to recover from the second and the third one. But if you keep having mistakes, then we have to evaluate him. Say, okay, is he a hazard to the road? Let's make sure he do the right thing so he can learn from that, so he don't keep making it. You and I know once the body overcomes something and it does it the right way, that's when you change. Isn't that neat?
Sure is. Absolutely. And let me ask, I mean, when a driver faces out there on the roads, all the different hazardous conditions, right? From snow, from rain to black ice to all these things, or these, it's just, and depending on where you drive across the country, right? I'm assuming you got to get schooled in all forms of weather situations, all sorts of safety issues. Let me ask, when there is a safety hazard and you have to pull over your car, what are, or your truck, I should say, what are the rules that a trucker must follow once there is a hazard and you have to pull over? Tony, I'm sorry. One more time. I'm not sure if you heard me or you broke up there.
And
But
drive in the middle.
oh,
Take your time
Tony,
when
I'm
you
going to ask
drive
you
so that way
I'm
people
going to
can
ask you
see.
one more time because you broke up. So what would you say?
I'll say whenever it's raining outside and it's and you know you just got caught in a storm, you want to put your emergency lights on and go very, very slow. Don't speed for nothing until you know it's done cleared up, because a lot of people, Jill, I see it a lot. Drivers want to speed in that rain, and you better can see the road. That's not good. That's not good.
Got it.
That's
And I
good.
also
Plus,
want to.
when it's snowing, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. When it's snowing, go ahead.
I say when it's snow, you get caught in the snow. Always follow the snow to the right lane, because you see that white solid line. You want to hook that one right there that's going down the road, not the one in the middle,
Yeah.
but one on the right side of you. You want to hook that one all the way. And if, like us truck drivers, if I have a truck driver in front of me, I'm following his tracks.
God bless. Absolutely. Good advice.
As soon as possible. Yeah.
And by the way, there's a lot of female truckers nowadays too, right? Not just men anymore.
That's right. And we appreciate you ladies out there. And watch this. Some lady can drive some of this better than these guys out here.
I don't. Is it safe to say women are safer?
In some category,
We're cautious.
Yes, we're more
Generalists.
Us guys want to take over and do things that we want to do instead of just being patient. But we appreciate our lady drivers out there, because it's true. We need more ladies out there to drive. And a lot of them feel like they don't want to get in the 9-to-5 office anymore. And one thing about driving a truck there, Jill, is that you have time with God and learn a lot of education, listen to the radio and get yourself mind accustomed to what you want to do in life. And it's very, very rewarding. And it's one of the top paying jobs out there in the United States.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I hope you have a fantastic day, Tony. Thank you for doing what you do. If we want to reach out to you, share how we can.
Yeah. Call me and leave a voicemail, because I go by my voicemail. When you leave a voicemail, 704-493-4452. If I hear your voice, not a text, not an email, but I hear your voice, I can evaluate what's going on, and we'll be able to get to the solution of the problem. Be detailed in facts, please.
Perfect.
704-493-4452. Leave a voicemail. I'll call you back.
All right. Thank you so much, Tony. Pleasure having you here. Thank you for keeping us safe and guiding us, and looking forward to the next time we get to connect. Tony, enjoy your day. Thank you.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success. This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.